You're listening to the Hookit podcast, brought to you by hookitproducts.co.uk.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Getting size going big.
Going huge. And I was like, guys was just like flying over me, looking like my head couldn't move fast enough. Woo! Like really, like, you know, really insane that what was like. It's so crowded, but just good fitting and just like people flying all the time.
Love it.
We're going streaky! Yeah!
What's up, podcast fans? Merry Christmas! And welcome to episode number 16 of the Hookit podcast. I hope everyone out there had a really good Christmas. Mine was certainly mental. It's been really nice just to have a few down days, but as usual, it's been crazy floating around family houses and all that sort of stuff. Eating too much, drinking too much, just how Christmas should be. So today's show is a little bit out of our lane, but I've been following Kevin's program for a little while now on social media. And we got chatting through Facebook and stuff, and I kind of figured the other day, rather than just chatting to Kevin myself and finding out more about his program and what he does, I'd just lay down a podcast with him. I figured it was a really good time, end of 2016, coming into 2017. It's a pretty inspirational story, is Kevin's. And Kevin runs a program called Sick Recovery, which is almost like a rehabilitation center for extreme sports athletes. Most notably, sorry, I can't speak. He worked with a professional rider called Nico Izzi, and it was kind of through Nico, I guess, that I saw what Kevin was doing and wanted to find out a little bit more about what he does and how it works. And it was really cool to sit down and have a chat and hear his story about exactly what goes on at Sick Recovery Racing. So I do understand it is a little bit out of our lane. It's kind of a little bit deeper than usual, especially for myself. You know, I am kind of not naive, but I'm not fully aware of pain pill addictions and opiates. So I learnt a lot, and hopefully all our listeners out there do enjoy this episode and you do pick something up from it. And if you can help support the cause, I think that would be really cool too. So again, as usual, thank you to everyone who's given us a like and a share from the last episode with Lewis. That one went down really, really well, actually. And it's always good to hear feedback and to see that you guys are enjoying our episodes. So again, I can't stress enough, this one is a little bit crazy. It's a little bit out of what we usually do. I've got a bunch of people lined up though for early 2017, so that's going to be really exciting. Again, not a whole lot of preparation went into this. We literally decided just the other day, it's like, right, let's just lay a podcast down rather than just chatting between ourselves. And let's try and raise a little bit more awareness for sick recovery. And I think hopefully we did a pretty good job. So without further ado, I'm really happy to welcome Kevin to the show. Let's do this. All right, Kevin, we are live.
Awesome.
Welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks a lot for doing this. I know you're feeling a little bit under the weather today.
Yeah, but it seems like something on the East Coast over here. Everybody's got a little stomach issue and a little cold going on. I've been hit with it in like the last 2 weeks, but it's all good.
Maybe a little bit too much festive food, you think?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's all good, man. So again, thank you very much for doing this. It's really appreciated. It's great to have you on. And I know that for some of our listeners, it's going to be a little bit of a strange one because maybe not so many people are going to be 100% sort of aware of what it is you do.
Who the hell is this dude?
Who the hell is this Yank dude we have on the show? But for me, I've been following what you do for a little while. Obviously with Nico and stuff like that. I know we just chatted really briefly, but I'm from like a motocross background. Although we are pretty much a cycle company over here. I grew up racing motocross. I also lived in the States for quite a while too. So it's kind of deep in me, that one. I can't seem to shrug that off.
Did you live on the East Coast or the West Coast?
I was in California.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So a company called MX Heaven, and they do tours and stuff like that, like holidays. So I worked there for a number of years doing that, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
and obviously raced here in the UK too. So I'm an avid moto fan. So it's pretty cool to get you on here and have a little chat. So
cool.
So I think for a lot of people out there, they probably aren't fully aware of what you do. So it's kind of cool if we can just to do like a brief introduction to yourself and kind of what it is that you do at Sick Recovery.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Kevin Kolb, Kolb. I started a drug and alcohol treatment program called Sick Recovery. We do like a team type thing called Sick Recovery Racing. There's an incredible opiate issue, and not only in our sport but in our country. Opiates are absolutely insanely rampant, killing probably right now. I believe the numbers are probably up to about 200 people a day.
Wow.
In our country, either pain pills or heroin.
Okay.
So I've been clean and sober myself for 10 years. Always had a love for motocross, and I saw that the sport had some issues. And back in 2010, I started doing this as a part-time gig. I grew up in a construction background,
right.
Construction management companies, making decent money, and I just hated what I was doing. I absolutely hated it. I've done it since I was about 12 years old in my family. We had a family business. Got out of it about 2.5 years ago, and now I just try to enjoy my life and every part of it, and that for me is what I try to instill in our guys in our program. Sick Recovery is an inpatient treatment program that we live on site on a motocross track in Waldo, Florida, called Waldo Motorsports. Our program uses motocross as a tool in recovery. It's not a lot of people come here and think it's the focus. It's not the focus. An addict changing who they have become is the focus, Yeah. But I use motocross because, I was going to school to be an interventionist and to get my certifications and things. And I was in class one day, and this lady who's a PhD was explaining the tie between opiates and adrenaline, and an opiate being a way for an addict to have an adrenaline rush and such. So, dude, I stood up and I'm like, okay, this is why motocross athletes, when we get hurt, we just don't go back to our sport.
Yeah.
We just stay at home and keep either popping pills or banging a needle, because we're getting that dopamine. Yeah, we're getting our dopamine release from the pill, and we have opiate receptors in our brain that are getting their fix from a pill, and we don't need to go out and jump 120-foot tabletop anymore, because we don't have any requirement for it. That dopamine tank is getting filled in our brain. So as soon as I heard that, I just kind of put my head down and went after trying to treat extreme sports athletes. It became like it's my passion. It's totally my purpose in life.
Right.
So I moved around a couple different places over here in the East Coast in the U.S. and finally found our spot down here in Florida. We rent some space here to be able to do our thing, and I've helped a bunch of different guys. I have 5 guys in treatment right now for opiate or alcohol abuse, and my goal in 2017 is to save. I want to save 100 lives, and this stuff like this is what's going to make that happen. Where I'm going to get my name out there and become the guy I want to become the guy in all extreme sports that people call when you get hurt. Right. Okay. And so I can proactively help people and also treat the people that are suffering with addiction.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so cool, man. It's so inspiring, and I think the way you've kicked this off is absolutely perfect on what I kind of wanted to hear from you. So props for that, dude. That's amazing.
Good.
I'm kind of intrigued about your past, though. So you're working in construction. As far as your motocross background goes, did you ride amateur, pro, or anything like that?
Just amateur.
Amateur? You've just always been interested in the sport?
Well, I grew up. My father raced, So when you see your dad, who's your hero at the time, racing it, moto becomes just a part of your blood. So I didn't race until I was vet class.
Right.
It just never worked out for me. I was into other things. I was into boxing. I was into MMA, and I was always into some type of extreme sport. But motocross didn't come back around until I got hurt in MMA, where I couldn't. I tore my rotator and didn't want to have surgery, but I could ride a bike because it was down low. It was
Okay.
nothing up high to my shoulder.
Okay.
So I picked up a bike again, and I just really, I'm like a full on Mr. Drug Addict. Everything I do, I go 150%. And
Okay.
I got a bike, and I went crazy and just trained every weekend. Even as a vet rider, I just really went at it, and I fell in love with the sport all over again from watching my dad as a kid.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's dope, dude. That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So where are you based at right now? Waldo MX? Is there other pros based around here? I know Florida's obviously a bit of a haven for moto.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
Yeah,
you've
I'm
got
in-
Trey not too far away. Those kind of guys or not?
I have. There's tons of guys. I'm within an hour of Dungey, Muscan, and Anderson. We have. I'm kind of in right in that north central Florida.
Yeah.
Where all Alden Baker and all the riders right now are training. There's people that obviously I think Supercross riders tend to set up out west during Supercross, but a lot of the time for the outdoors they set up over here because down here we set up at a track called WW Ranch in the summertime to prepare for our guys for Loretta's, because a couple of our guys that I'm training or treating went to Loretta Lynn's,
Cool. Okay.
which is the biggest amateur race in the States. You have to qualify to get there, and it was like 120 degrees here in Florida every day, like 100% humidity. So there's no better place to train. It was the hottest it's ever been
Really?
in 150 years in Florida.
Wow.
It was scorching, dude.
We could
So,
certainly do with some of that right now over here.
yeah, today. I mean, even today, it's like it was 80 degrees here today, and we're still in north central Florida, so it's perfect. There's a lot of sand tracks here. It gets real rough, so
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
Okay. Rad.
Yeah.
So there's obviously 1,000,001 things I feel like I could ask you about this, but I'm really kind of keen to understand how it kind of works with regards your, I'd call them inpatients right now, okay? So how do these guys end up coming to you?
Most people find me via Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat. Where I'm trying to build a really big social media presence. I try to I do live videos on Facebook to talk about addiction, and social media seems to have really helped get my name out there. I did a video 2 weeks ago about a probation office in Pennsylvania, Lebanon County and Lancaster County, and it went crazy. Like I had over 200,000 views.
Really?
And yeah, and that really it went to the news. It went, I just totally crushed the system and how horrible the probation parole system we have, and I just told them the truth and that something needs to be done. And my goal right now is I'm trying. I just actually did an executive summary to get to a guy that works for Trump, for Donald Trump. So my goal is to get a meeting with Mr. Trump and try to do something about our horrible our systems for helping addicts is screwed. Like it's just not working. Obviously we have a big problem, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. I mean, especially in this sport. The sport of motocross, like everybody just kind of wants to sweep it under the rug as soon as somebody's hurt, and instead of helping them, we walk away from them, and I totally just disagree with that.
Okay.
You
see, the thing is, over here in the UK, we do have it kind of different with the National Health Service, and obviously, I've never been addicted to opiates or anything like that myself, so I'm kind of, it's really hard to put yourself in that position, obviously, but I don't think it's as easy here as it is in the States to get opiates and stuff like that, that sort of drug. And what sort of drugs is it that these kids are getting hold of? Is it pain pills and
Yeah. Well,
Adderall,
here's the
that sort of thing?
Yeah. Here's the issue with pain pills in our sport. I'm sure you've had an injury.
Yep.
I'm sure you've broken a bone if you're a moto guy. Those downhill mountain bikers, they're gnarly, dude. They break bones. Those guys are crazy.
Yeah.
So you guys go and you get hurt. You go have surgery. Just like me, I broke my femur. I had surgery. They hand me 90 pain pills, okay, or 120 pain pills, and I leave and I go home and I take those pain pills for 3-4 weeks, right? Yeah. Give me a refill. I take them for another 2-3 weeks, and you're about 6 weeks in until you don't need them anymore from pain, or 4 weeks, because a lot of injuries you need the pain pills to survive. My problem, and I make that really clear, my problem isn't the pain pill. It's how we're giving them. So some doctor just writes you a script and doesn't tell you a damn thing about what's going to happen when you try to stop. And what's going to happen when you try to stop taking those pain pills after a month is your body is going to go through hell, literal hell. Yeah. You're going to get sick as a dog. You're going to think you have the flu. You think you're going to die. You've never felt that sick. You can't move. Your body aches. There's just it's absolutely horrible. Being dope sick is the worst feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. So a guy gets hurt. He starts to feel sick because he stopped taking the meds, and so he says, "All right, doc, give me. I need more meds. I'm still in pain." When he's not.
Right. Okay.
So the doctor says, "I can't give you any more pain pills. See ya." Okay. So now they go to the street and they start buying pain pills on the street for $25. Buying Percocet for $20. Yeah. They do that as long as they can afford it. And that's the issue. You can only afford that for so long if you're just a normal person. You know what I mean? Or they start dealing them to try to fix that, and that never works when you're using your own supply. We all know that.
Yep. Do you feel that some of these kids too? They've obviously, let's say some of the moto guys, they've had a good job with a factory team. They've probably got quite a lot of money in the bank, and it's a lot easier. Yeah.
Well. How many factory guys? How many guys though? I mean, there's factory guys that make money, but who else?
Yeah.
There's a certain bit of guys that can make money, but the point is that after they can't get the pills anymore or can't afford it, they go to heroin. Heroin's $5 a bag here, dude. Heroin is cheap as anything, and you can go on to any. Heroin is so easy to get nowadays. It's crazy. So and the reason why it's in our country so much is because it all comes from Mexico,
right?
And it just comes over our border, and a lot has actually become, it's just very easily gotten into this country, the opioids. So so they start using heroin and then they die, because there's so much. It's laced with fentanyl now, K-fentanyl, a veterinarian tranquilizer. And people are just dying like crazy, dude. I get a call every day that I had a call today from a lady from some Yahoo town in Ohio that they had 30 ODs in this past Friday night, 30 in one night.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah,
so that's kind of where you're aiming, is to help with the accessibility of the drugs.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk to Trump about. What are we doing to control the amount of heroin and pain pills and opioids that are in this country? It's just also a problem with the way our doctors are handing them out. I don't think any old doctor should just be able to write a script for pain pills.
No.
It should be done through a pain center.
And I'm guessing.
How do you guys do it?
Wow, I haven't done this for a little while. God, let me think. I remember leaving hospital after breaking a leg. I was in there for a night with morphine, and then I left with like a box of pain pills, like nothing crazy. I think maybe 20 or 30 or something, and then you have to go back and then you have to say why you need more. And I really wish
there was someone else. Do they test you?
No.
Do they test you?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No, I mean, wow. I wish, to be brutally honest with you, I tried to get my friend to join me on this podcast, who's actually from a medical background. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it, but it would have been really good, because I don't want to come across as really kind of not clued up on this stuff, you know, and a little bit
No,
naive
no,
to
no.
it. But it is different over this way, you know, and the only sort of run-in I've really had with it is I was involved with Speedway for quite a while. I don't know if you guys have much Speedway over there, but a little bit of Speedway. So you have, like, you know, Greg Hancock was a world champion. He's from the States, from California, but I was really close to a lot of Speedway riders, and what you usually find, that because it's like a 6-month season, the 6 months finishes, they've had, you know, 3 or 4 nights racing Speedway through the week. It finishes and they've got nothing to do, and they need that adrenaline fix. And that's where I really understood what you said before, is that they go out looking for it. It's either drink or drugs. You know, yeah, it may not necessarily be like heroin and stuff, but it's going to be some sort of drug. And just tons of drink, and it's just searching for that adrenaline fix all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the only real time that I've ever personally been around it. Is just seeing those guys just go crazy in the off season. I don't know how hard it is in the States, obviously, with some of the pro guys, is because it doesn't really stop the season. There may be like a month in between, you know, outdoors and Supercross, 2 months or whatever it is now. But especially for some of the Speedway guys, they come off a season, they've got a ton of money in the bank, and it's just like go crazy for 6 months until the next season, really. That's the only real time I've been around it.
That's a lot of athletes, you know. That's a lot of extreme sports athletes. They can stop for a couple weeks. They can stop for a month or so, but they can't quit. Stopping and quitting are two totally different words, you know. A lot of people, well, I can stop anytime I want. Yeah, you can stop, but how come you're high right now? How come you keep going back? And that's because they're an addict, you know, and they just won't get the help that they need to change, you know. And that's why I make my program's a long-term center that I'm trying to keep everybody here for 6 months to a year to make sure that they're good before they go back into a different setting.
Yeah. So, what sort of age groups do you usually get to you?
To me, is 18 and up. You know, I won't treat any kids under 18 in here. I also do recovery coaching, which means, you know, you can work with me via Skype. You can work with me via FaceTime or on the phone, and I'd work with kids with parents that way, where I'd get to work with them both. But I won't treat inpatient. I won't treat women or people under 18 in inpatient.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's so crazy to hear all those stories, though, buddy. I mean, I think it'd be cool just to go through, if it's okay. Sort of like, I mean, one of the high-profile cases I guess you had was Nico Izzi, who.
Yeah.
When I was young, you know, I was looking up to Nico. He was the bomb. You know, he's arguably one of the best amateur racers in the States.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah, probably ever. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the kid was on fire constantly.
Nico was the highest. Still has the highest paid contract coming out of amateurs.
Really?
Of all time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he won everything in the amateurs. You know. I remember him riding a gold bike once, I think, at Las Vegas Supercross, and I was so jealous of that thing. It was ridiculous. So how did you end up... I mean, it's good just to use Nico as an example, because we can kind of run through the stages, if that's okay. So how did Nico end up coming to you? Were you already doing sick recovery already, or was it kind of a bit of a kick up the ass for yourself to do this full time?
I was helping people since about 2011, and you know, I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't put it all together. You know, I was helping local riders to get clean and sober, and I had I was making good money with our construction company, so I built a place for people to live in my basement. And when people didn't have places to live, they'd stay in my basement, and I'd try to help get them clean and sober. And I started with a local pro rider named Casey Clark, and he lived with me for a while from 2011 to 2012. Mm-hmm. It went really well, and then I was just kind of stagnant with helping people at a different level. So I put a business plan together. I did a bunch of research on who the most gnarly guy was in the sport that was struggling with addiction. And at the time, Nico had just gotten out of jail, out of prison.
I was going to say, so it was quite public at the time that Nico was struggling.
Yeah, it's all over everything. Nico was struggling bad again. So I I wanted the most gnarly dude to help, to prove that this way works if you give it a chance. And I put together a business plan. I had a friend who brought Nico up and said, Nico's looking for somebody to help him in numerous different ways. Would you be interested? And I said, it was a total God thing for me because I had been writing up my business plan. I just didn't know which rider, so it kind of like fell into place.
Yeah.
And I called him, and we got on the phone, and we started talking every day. And I sent my business plan of what I wanted to do to Travis Pastrana and a couple other people, and I had done some graphic design work. My wife owns a graphic design company that makes motocross graphics, T-shirts, stuff like that.
Oh, really?
We'd done some work for Travis, and I sent him this whole thing and said, "This is my dream to help people with." And he cut me a check, dude.
Wow.
It wasn't a huge amount of money, but it was about $10,000, and said, "Get started. You've helped me in a bunch of projects that I didn't, that you wouldn't take any money for. Here, I want to help." And he kicked it off, and Nico and I and another kid, just as a training partner for him, hit the road.
Right.
And
so
that's
Nico,
how
was
that's
Nico
how it
living
all
in
began.
Florida, or did Nico move from California or somewhere?
No, Nico was in Georgia at the time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, with his father.
Right. Okay.
And he had been struggling again.
Yeah. So he kind of moved over to stay with you for a while.
Yeah, he moved in with me. I actually drove to North Carolina to meet him so that he didn't get into more trouble. He was in trouble, and I kind of got him. I kind of met him to get him out of trouble, and we just hit the road. Then I didn't know what I was going to have, what was going to happen. We got in our rig, and he's a gnarly dude, man. It wasn't easy getting Nico on the straight and narrow, but
Really?
but we did it.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen immediately, but it happened, and he started to really start to go fast again.
And what do you feel? Again, just using Nico as an example. I mean, why did he end up with his addiction problems? Did he have a major crash? I can't quite remember one myself.
Oh, hell yeah! And if you
really?
go watch, if you type in 2000, I think it's 09. St. Louis or Jacksonville.
Oh, is it?
I'm
did
not
he break
sure.
His ankles? Is it that one?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He exploded his foot. He fell out of the sky on a triple in Supercross.
Yeah.
And blew his foot, his ankle, his heel bone through his foot.
Yeah.
Filled his boot up with blood.
Shit.
And yeah, it was gnarly, dude. It's all over the place. You can watch that. He just fell and landed on his foot, and it shattered his heel bone, his whole foot.
Mm.
So
do you think as well, like again with Nico, was it almost a problem that moto is the only thing he's ever really known about his whole life? I mean, he was 100% dedicated from being, I don't know how old, maybe 5 or 6. So once you're in hospital and your kind of dream could be shattered, it's a downward spiral into maybe some depression and stuff like that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, Nico's situation, I know very well, and Nico kind of got pushed to the side when he got hurt.
Right.
I'm not saying, and let me be clear, Nico has his quirks. I still talk to Nico, but Nico can be a rough kid to deal with. He's got his attitude, he's got his edge, and that's what makes Nico Nico. He can be a jerk, and I don't think at the time who he was riding for cared for him too much, but it was pretty easy to just walk away from him, I think, when he got hurt, and I think that was a little unfair. I think everybody could have supported him a little bit more when he really got busted up, But I also know that things happen for a reason, and I feel that it could have gone differently if he would have handled some situations differently as well. So I don't blame anybody. I just think that we need to start talking about addiction more in extreme sports.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it sounds like, I mean, if Travis is involved too, if anyone's going to be around a lot of injuries and stuff, it's going to be Travis Pastrana. You know,
Oh,
he probably
dude.
knows all too well about that stuff for sure.
But he's a wacko, dude. I don't think he even feels pain with the stuff he goes through. Like, so I don't know that Travis knows anything about pain pill abuse, but it was nice to have his help. You know, he hasn't been involved since the beginning, but I am so grateful to him for even, you know, I'm a nobody, you know, and for him to do what he did was just explains how humble and noble that dude is. He's a person that I'll always look up to because he's just such a great person.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm guessing again, like, so you want to put something in place like an infrastructure, whereas somebody like Nico gets injured, then you'd get a call off the factory team or whichever team and be like, look, this guy's banged up, he's having some issues. Yep. We want to get something in place, and you could, you know, assign people to them, or, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. Yeah,
I want to be the guy that when Justin Barsha wrecks, the JGR calls me and says, all right, dude, can you come spend a weekend with Justin on this date when he's getting off this stuff to make sure he's doing all right, to make sure he's staying hydrated, to make sure to see if you see anything going on that's a little weird, because honestly, unless you're an addict, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what to look for. And that's, you know, I believe that everybody's given a gift from God, or from, you know, whatever you believe, but everybody's given gifts. And my gift is to know when somebody's telling the truth or not telling the truth. and I can pick it out really easy, and I know what to look for with an addict. So that's the side where that's the proactive side for me, that I want to grow my name enough where everybody in this industry or at extreme sports industry says, hey, my son got hurt. What do I do now? What do I do? And I'm going to get on a call with them, and I'm going to stay in touch with them and be like, look, this is the stuff you're going to look for. And if you need to count his pills, you need to hold his pills, you need to taper him off when he's done. And that's my goal. But from a proactive side, from a treatment side, I want to build a facility that has skate parks, that has mountain bike trails, that has downhill trails, that has a pump track, that has motocross track, that has go-karts for people that are just wanting to get treatment. And the problem with treatment, dude, in anywhere, is that people don't enjoy it and they want to leave. Right. They want to leave after 2 weeks. That was my gig. You know, I got put in a place where I was in group with 5 or 6 people every day, 4 walls to look at, and then the rest of the time I watched everybody smoke cigarettes and eat buffet, all day long. And so you want to make it enjoyable too. Yeah, and it wasn't enjoyable. You were limited to the amount of exercise you were allowed to get. I had no contact with the outside world at all. Right. And all that did is put me in a bubble, you know, and then I get released like a wild dog, and I go right back to just shell shock and go crazy. So my program's set up differently, and I have 2 months of transitional before you go full time back. But I mean, we travel and we go to races together. You know, we're out there. I want them to see people that are drinking. I want them. This is going to sound really crazy to you. I want them to smell somebody smoking weed. Yeah. I want them to come across those things while they're with me, so that I can teach them how to deal with it. That's the difference between my treatment center and everybody else's. And now I'm just trying to, hopefully you have some big rich friend in the UK that can be an investor and say, here's $2 million, go buy land and build all this stuff and hire a bunch of people, and let's saving. Let's hope so, buddy. Let's hope so. Don't worry, we're going to hit up some donate links shortly. That's no problem at all. Usually we have a little bit more time to prepare for these. I know we for the people out there listening, we did throw this together really fast. And obviously with it being Christmas and stuff like that, it was like, right, let's just do it now. For me, I felt like it was a really cool thing to do just before 2017. It's kind of an inspirational story. I love what you're doing, and hopefully all our listeners are going to really, really enjoy hearing your story too. Cool. So I didn't really get a chance to get many questions in from our listeners or anything like that. Like I say, usually there's 4 or 5 days. I put something out, we get some listener questions in, and I can ask them. But one guy, the guy actually who's going to be on the show with me, Darren, wanted to know how hard will it actually be now for Nico, for example, to make it back into the pro ranks? Is it something that
he's looking at? Is it something that you want to assist him with too, or have the industry?
I'm always.
Sorry, have the industry kind of turned the back on him for right now? I know over there things are a little bit crazy right now with riders getting rides anyway. There's a bunch of guys who haven't got anything on the table for the start of Supercross. So
this is a totally different subject. Yeah, because you just hit it, man. I mean, look at the guys that don't have rides, like Dean Wilson.
Yeah.
Like I mean, how is a guy like Nico that has caused some havoc in the industry? And I'm just being straight up. And
for sure.
And it's not a surprise that how does he get a shot at being a factory ride again? Well, what I will tell you is, maybe a factory ride isn't what he's supposed to have. Maybe a factory ride would send him right back. Mm-hmm. But maybe what's supposed to happen is he's supposed to work for everything he gets now, because he really didn't have to. He put the work in on the track always. Nico is a very, very, very hard worker on the track. He's a hard worker in the gym. It's outside of there that he's got to get it, that everything can't go his way.
Yeah.
So hopefully Nico is figuring out both of those components, because I'll tell you, I'm also a certified personal trainer, and
okay.
I really got Nico in great shape when we were together, and he was a beast, dude. Like, Nico has no quit in him, from in every standpoint in life. I just wanted him to get that when it just came to the simple things outside of riding and working out, that the life skills but can he get a ride? I sure hope so. I hope Nico keeps things clean and sober and gets himself squared away. I know he's got a really good thing going on right now. I see bikes. I just talked to him a couple weeks ago. He was going to come ride, but things didn't work out. Okay. But he's doing some stuff right now. He just rode straight rhythm with a guy. He's supposedly going to do Supercross. I saw today or yesterday he just posted that he's got new Yamahas with the new guy. So people are going to help him because of his name. And
it's still Nico Izzi.
Can I talk on that subject real quick?
Of course you can, buddy. Talk about whatever you want.
Here's my problem, and this is what people need to understand. And this has nothing to do with Nico or anybody I've helped. This is to go just with anytime you're just giving somebody something. Okay, I feel like when you're a high level athlete like Nico, just handing somebody something isn't going to fix them. If you just give an addict something and you don't tie any work to it, any expectation that you have for what you're giving, you're hurting them more than you're helping them. You start giving a guy bikes, you start paying his way, you start just having him, all he's got to do is turn the throttle and we're good, you're killing him. Because they don't learn anything that way. When these guys are here, they're responsible for more than just turning the throttle, because look what happened to guys like him. You worry only about turning the throttle, and that's the first thing you're going to lose. And that's what's happened to guys like that, So what I'd like people to learn is that if you're dealing with an addict and you're trying to help them, don't just hand them things. And don't hand any kid anything. Like,
no.
make them do something for it, And that's what drives me crazy in our sport, especially. As long as you can turn the throttle and you can go fast, just do what you want. And that's just, I see so many parents doing that, and it's like, wake up. He's not going to be able to turn that throttle forever, maximum till about 30 years old. Yeah. And then what? Now you've taught him nothing. Now you've taught him that the only thing he has to do is win on a track. What's he going to do when he's done? Yeah. So that's a big thing that I try to teach here.
I think that's a huge problem, probably with a lot of sports. You have a lot of parents too, just living their dream through the kid, giving them everything they need, absolutely everything. We see it all the time over here, buddy, with schoolboy motocross especially. You've got the parents who just want the kid to be British champion. At the end of the day, it's not going to do nothing for you over here.
No.
And there's nothing after it. They get injured and it's like dead end. Right, okay, I pulled out of school at 12, 13, no real education, no skills, game over.
And that's what I instill that's what I teach here. Life skills. They're gonna get up every day at 6:45 in the morning, and they're gonna make their own breakfast, and they're gonna do their own dishes, and they're gonna be a part of a garden, or they're gonna be a part of taking care of an animal, or they're gonna be a part of working on a track, or cleaning up trash, or something that they don't want to do. They're gonna have to do something they don't want to do, because that's what. It's hard for people that get given everything their whole life. As soon as there's something in their life that they don't want to do, they shut down.
Yeah.
So the whole time you're here, it's going to be a struggle some days to do things you don't want to do. It's going to be a struggle.
So how does a regular week kind of look at Sick Recovery? What goes on day to day?
So every day you get up at 6:45. You do your morning reading, whether it has to do with meditation. If you don't believe in the Bible, you can read the Bible, you can meditate. I don't care what faith works for you. You just have to do something that's going to prepare you to deal with your day. You make your bed. That's a must. That's a must. I had a little, sorry about that.
It's okay. It's no problem. It's all right. So just quickly, are these guys living with you now? Are they like on the ranch or? Okay.
Yeah, they live here in RVs here. I have like 4 RVs that there's 2 guys to an RV that they bunk with somebody, and they're responsible to make their bed, do their dishes, they cook together. It's not, it's not your Malibu treatment center where you're going to have a chef making your meals and doing all the things that you're used to. They're required to do what they need to do. And then we maybe do some yoga. Yep. We will we'll stretch. We'll do, like on a Monday, we just we're off. So we clean up around here. We'll do something to help the area. If we don't try to build our garden, we'll paint a fence for somebody. We're involved in wherever we're at, trying to be part of the track if we can. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we get up, do all that, and we train on the bike. And yes, they have to train. They have to train somehow, because that's that part. I have guys all the time who are like, I don't feel like riding today. I'm like, well, I didn't feel like getting up for work today either, but I did. So get your ass up and get out on the track, and be grateful that you're getting up to go out on the track and you have that ability.
For sure.
Yeah.
And are these guys all at different varying skill levels right now? Are they all amateur,
absolutely.
pro? Okay.
Everywhere from C to A. So it's
okay.
a pro. Yeah, right. No doubt. Nighttime, we'll do Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll do circuit training. The other nights you can do a bicycle ride or a jog. But you gotta start getting in shape, and exercising for healthy reasons. And then at night, we'll have a group meeting, whether we do that online to allow other people to come in or with ourselves. Every morning we set goals. Every week we set goals. It's a different thing every night, but before they go to bed, they journal how their day was, and they rate their day, and they talk about if they're, what they're grateful for today, and if they owe anybody an apology, and they do that every night, and we read that once or twice a week. It's just, it's a lot. They keep moving.
Sounds pretty full on, for sure. Keep the mind stimulated
absolutely.
And stuff, and keep them active.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's grown. My program has, since the beginning, has just evolved, and it always will. I get some people like, well, it has your program changed? And I'm like, absolutely, it's going to change. It has to. I have to change for, I'll find new things that I need to do for each guy I treat. And I can't treat all of them the same. Some guys I really have to be in their face, like right in their face, and then
You're
other
a pretty
guys,
tough dude by the looks of things as well.
And other guys I have to treat, with cotton gloves. I have to really be cool with them, but which is hard for me, because my style, and this is really important, my style is a very in your face, tell you exactly how it is, and I believe that because that's what got me clean and sober. I finally had a guy that wasn't afraid to tell me that, look, you're still an asshole without the drugs, so let's change that. And that's what I have to do. These people become assholes. Yeah. And they got to learn that they can't treat everybody with disrespect, and they have to be respectful to their elders, and they have to say yes sir and no sir and yes ma'am to somebody, and to treat people the way I try to tell everybody, treat everybody like you'd treat your 90-year-old grandmother, and it's a part of the deal.
Yeah, it sounds amazing, buddy, what you're doing. It sounds really cool, and I know from my own personal experiences, been around that sort of atmosphere and that, all those positive vibes, they just change you. I mean, even my time been in California totally changed me as a person. You just really learn to stand on your own 2 feet. Again, Stefan, who we used to live with, he was pretty tough sometimes. He'd make you do the dishes and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't an easy ride, that's for sure. But yeah, what you do is insane. It's so cool. Really, really, really cool. And it looks like, I was looking through your Facebook actually before, not in a stalker kind of way. I was just kind of reading through some of the comments. But it looks like you're having such a positive impact on so many people, dude. Like there was a bunch of people saying thank you for your live videos, and yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And again, we'll make sure we throw some links over in the comment section and stuff of this. So, okay. So how's your radio show going too?
Dude, my radio show would be great if I could get AT&T to send me the right hotspot. I totally blew it last week. I started broadcasting and we kept losing signal. And man, I tested it so many times, but once you'd get a certain amount of time in, it would lose signal, and we just couldn't I couldn't get it together. So I have a new hotspot coming. As soon as it gets here, I'm going to announce a date and start all over again, because we were really having fun. Like, I had no idea I wasn't even broadcasting, dude. We're like 20 minutes in, and my wife calls. My wife, like, opens the door to the rig. She's like, "You're not on the radio." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "It's dead." Like, I heard the first part, like the first 2 minutes, and then it's been dead. Dude. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like,
have you thought of doing it like this, just like a podcast and throwing it up on iTunes, or not?
You know what? I want interaction, man. I want the ability for kids. Part of our show is called the Amateur Hour, where we're like a Pulp MX, because I love what Pulp does.
Yeah, I know you've been on there too, right?
Yeah. Watson, and he got me on the show with them, and it was awesome. But Pulp does such a good job that I'm like, why don't I do this for kids? Number one, I can get them to feel like rock stars, and that's what that I want them to know how awesome they are for giving all they got in this sport. So I have that, and I want kids to be able to call in. I want to be able to talk to them. But the second part is, I want kids to listen to the second part of Kill the Addiction, where they hear what drugs did to some people, and how it hurt them. And I want addicts to be able to call into my show from anywhere in the world and say, "Look, I'm struggling. What do I do?" And if I only get one person a show to call in when I open those phone lines, it's worth it to me. Same with the live videos. My wife's like, some days I'll only have 20 people on there, and I'm like, you know what? Like, that's cool, because 20 people are on there and they say, I'm struggling. I can help one person. If I can help one person through this on a show, it's that whole starfish model. You know what I mean? Just throwing one back in the ocean one time, and that's what I'm trying to do, dude.
That's rad. That's so cool. Well, anything that we can do here to help you, I'm going to try my best to do. Because, like I say, not a lot of people will be 100% familiar with you and what you do, but hopefully, even just with the downloads we get, it's going to bring a little bit more awareness to you and your program. So, cool. Fingers crossed.
I appreciate it, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Don't be silly. It's all good. It's all good. So I like to try and keep these around this sort of time anyway. So before we wrap up, where can people find out more about the program, and where can they donate if they want to? Which they will.
You can go. You can go on our website.
Of money here in the UK.
You can go on sickrecovery.com, which is our website that has a donate page. I just filed all the paperwork to be a nonprofit. It's not done yet, but hopefully that's going to happen soon with our government. Yeah. Sick Recovery Facebook, or Sick Recovery Instagram, or my personal Facebook, where I do a lot of stuff, is Kevin David Kolb, KOLB. And if you have any questions,
it's really cool. You're not shy with giving out your cell phone number. It's always on there. Whenever someone says something, you're like, "Call me, text me." And I was reading through, just like, your phone must be on blast all the time.
Yeah, it is.
That's really cool.
And it's like, some people, they call me and ask me the craziest stuff. Like, I show everybody all day. Like, people will pick my phone up. They're like, "Dude, your phone just is going off." Like, I'm like, I'll get to it. Like, every night I sit down for a couple hours and I write down, and I screw up and I miss some people, but you know, I did. Why not? If it's truly my passion and my purpose, and this is what I don't understand about people. You know, they say, "Oh, it's my purpose, it's my calling." Well, how can I? Well, you got to go through my office. Bullshit, man. If this is my purpose, call my phone. I had people last night calling my phone at 3, 4 in the morning. I missed them, and I tried getting them back this morning. But it's cool. I mean, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, I wished for this. I prayed for this. Like, so why not give my phone number? You know what I mean?
That's rad. It's really, really good, man. Really, really cool. So, sickrecovery.com. It's Sick Recovery on Instagram, Facebook.
Sickrecovery.com or 484-219-5949, dude.
You're such a baller giving that out on here.
Anytime you need it, man.
You're a hero. You're a hero. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being a guest. It's really appreciated. And hopefully everyone out there who's listening is going to find some inspiration in this. And even if it just raises the awareness, it's job done for me too.
That's all I'm trying to do, brother. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Don't be silly. It's all good. Right. You go enjoy your evening because you're not very well and the weather's really nice.
Yeah. You too, man. Get some sleep.
Take care, buddy.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. And there we go. It's episode 16 in the bag with Kevin. Such a good episode. I really thoroughly enjoyed sitting and chatting to that guy and hearing his story. And it's awesome to hear that people are out there doing that kind of thing. You know, it's something that possibly does get overlooked in all aspects of life and extreme sports. So it's amazing. So don't forget to head over to sickrecovery.com. And if you can, spare a little change, small donation, just so they can see that the podcast maybe did something. I'm certainly going to donate some money myself shortly, just to Kevin, just to help out a little bit, and give him a follow. It's at Sick Recovery on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Kevin's personal Facebook page. He even gave his cell phone number out if you want to drop him a text, which is pretty crazy. And again, thank you to every single person that's listened again. It's much appreciated. Thank you. And don't forget to share this episode with your friends. If you did enjoy it, let everybody know. If you can head over to iTunes and leave a review, that is super, super helpful. Just head over there, leave a review, and just type something out and leave us a review. Preferably a 5-star one, because that really, really helps us climb up the iTunes charts. And we actually did officially enter the bike section of iTunes not too long ago, and that was overwhelming, that's for sure. To see that we're actually in there with a bunch of some of the other big hitters means that what we're doing is working, and that is amazing. And it's all down to you guys for actually tuning in, downloading, and sharing it. So thank you very much again. Enjoy the rest of 2016. Happy New Year to everybody out there, and we'll see you on the flip blah, 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 blah. We'll see you on the flip side in 2017. Peace out, folks.